Hello, my name is Erica, and I'm here to talk about my thesis, Perpetuating Colonization Through the Gaze of U.S. Media. My thesis consists of two sort of main components: feminist discourse, critical discourse analysis, and autoethnography. And in it, I'm exploring how historical media portrayals of American Indians in the context of settler colonialism, and also the legacy of that in my family. So today, though, I'm just going to talk about the autoethnographic portion of my research. So it sort of begins, in a way, with an event known as the Long Walk of the Navajo. And first, just quickly, naming is really important. So I want to point out that the name Navajo was bestowed by Spanish colonizers, but the preferred name is Dene, which comes from their own language and means the people. And so, anyway, there's a lot more to the story, but than I can say in 5 minutes. But in 1863 to 1864, the U.S. government sent Kit Carson and his troops to the Southwest on a campaign to forcibly remove Dene people from their land, in part to make way for white settlers and to get at the natural resources on that land. So my great-great-grandparents were among the thousands of people who were removed. Their homes were destroyed, their food was destroyed, their water was poisoned, all of that to get them out of there. And then they were forced to walk 400 miles to an internment camp in eastern New Mexico. So I've heard bits and pieces of this story and other stories of my family throughout my entire life. But it wasn't until last year when I interviewed my mom for a class assignment that those pieces kind of came together in a new way for me. And I began to better understand how profoundly this and other things have and still are impacting my family. For example, in this interview, I learned things that I didn't know before about my mom and the way she grew up. She was regularly dehumanized as a child, and she moved up here when she was about 20, in part in order, in her words, to hide from that experience and that part of herself. So, even though something like the Long Walk happened 150 years ago, it's still really raw and painful for a lot of people. So this leads me here to my research, or at least part of it. And what I'm doing right now is building a family archive. And I'm still in the process of collecting data through interviews and collecting those family stories, photographs, trying to find official documents, that sort of thing. And there, as you might imagine, there are gaps. Some of them are pretty huge, but I'm trying to fill the gaps as much as I can. But it's really not easy. It's super emotional. It's full of tension. Some of my family members are sort of reluctantly willing to talk about these things. Some aren't. Some, or one or two, just refuse to acknowledge any of this at all, even to us or to ourselves. But this is kind of part of the story, right? It's part of, one effect of colonization that's ongoing. It's, these things aren't, the Long Walk, for example, and there are many other examples, but it's not just a thing that happened in the past that now it's over and we've moved on. It's still happening, just maybe a little bit quieter. There's also tension between the personal family stories and the oral histories and Western academic standards. So, I have to be really careful and respectful and, even gentle in a lot of ways when I'm talking to my family about these things. I have to, or I am constantly asking myself, am I even doing the right thing by putting them out there? And sometimes I'm not sure. I don't really know the answer to that question. But I'm, reassured at times by, especially by Sean Wilson, who's an Indigenous scholar who writes a lot about Indigenous philosophy and Indigenous research methods. So in one of his articles, he says, I'm going to quote him here, "You are not answering questions of validity or reliability or making judgments. Instead, you should be fulfilling your relationships with the world around you. You're not just gaining information from people, you're sharing your information. It's something you're building for yourself and for your community." So my hope is that, maybe I am doing the right thing, that my research maybe contributes in some small way to disrupting conventional academia, and also benefits my family and my community and the world around me. Thank you. Thank you.